Okay, let us start with the first column, which is the health. So it's this one here. So we have the Three of Wands, the Hierophant, the Six of Pentacles, and the Hanged Man. Quite an eclectic bunch that have all come in here. Two major arcanas here, a wand and a pentacle. If this is health, some of you might be looking into the future and pondering a change of some sort of health or a change of lifestyle or direction that may be part and parcel of a health regime or taking you into the future. I'm not seeing in here a great deal of what I would call hard cards or hardship cards around the health arena. These two are a little bit more tied up together, and I'll get to them, but the Hierophant kind of bodes quite well. He often talks about going into a spiritual mode or going back to the basics, in terms of some people might visit religious places or follow their religious practices a bit more. This can be literally attending a church or a church service. Not that there are many church services available at the moment, but as we come into May, that might ramp up again and there might be some more public services available. Some of you might go into esoteric knowledge or looking in at a deeper level about philosophical perspectives in life or cosmic information or awareness. You might find this becomes more of a part of your life. You might have had some time, if you haven't been working over this sort of global lockdown time, you might have had time to ponder things a little bit more, because there's a great deal of pondering in this card, and this can be in terms of a change in direction or pondering your future, and all of these things have an impact on our health status. But at the moment they don't seem bad, they just seem, I'm wondering perhaps where I'm going to go or how I get there, or what philosophy I might uptake, or whether I go back to a fundamental belief system I had when I was younger or something that worked for me back then as I move into the future. These two here look slightly different. So the Hanged Man, he does have a similar message to the Hierophant, in as much that he too often finds that he's at a crossroads in life, and it can be because there's been a bigger event that stalls things. So things can be very stalled and slowed down at this crossroads, and that kind of makes sense because a lot of us are in this position. But while you're in this stalled mode, or things have slowed down, you might find illumination or answers that you've been seeking. You might find the opportunity to go in a new direction. Now, that can be in terms of anything in your life. It could be a new health direction. It could be a new career direction. And all of these things, remember, they impact your physical health, but especially your mental and emotional health as well. In the traditional Rider-Waite deck, this card often has illumination around his head. So sometimes I do say that there might be head problems in as much of physical types. Eye strain, headaches, neck pain. You might need to get your back seen to. Some of you could literally have need a chiropractor. You might have a back out of alignment, discs out, and you might need your neck rotated or your back realigned. Some of you could have headaches that you need attended to, or to see what might be causing them. You might have headaches because of the sheer, enormity of everything that's happening for us at this present time as well. With this card here, this can be one of two things. It could mean that you are in the realm of supporting or nurturing others who need a little bit of extra care at this time, care and attention, and you have the ability to do so, both at the physical time perspective and also at the emotional and mental nurturing capacity. Now, if it's not you doing that, it could mean that you feel that you are in need of a bit of a pickup or some balance being brought back into your life, and it could involve money or finances or career, and you might be putting your hand out for some help from someone, and this might be difficult to do, or it might make you feel anxious or restrained or restricted, or as if it's going to be partly tied up with this whole concept of, wow, this is really making me change direction, or it's stalling me on the journey that I was currently on. So some of these things could be going on for you in terms of physical health, mental health, and emotional well-being. But I definitely feel, because this one was the first one that came out, that Three of Wands, that you are still pondering about where do you go to in the future. And some of you are looking to go outwards and expand or ponder things that are greater or different than they currently are right here in the here and now. So if we come to this next column, which is finances and career, of all things, we didn't get, or we did, we got one Pentacles, one major arcana, a cups and a sword. So again, things seem really mixed in this whole dynamic for career and maybe finances. But you got two really positive cards and two nines as well. Two nines and a 10. So something about an ending or a completion or a cycle of evolution is around for you guys one way or another. Some of you may find that the direction you were heading in your career stalled or headed in a different direction for some reason, and that maybe you look to move yourself forward. However, this card with Pentacles here, the 9, which is generally very favourable, it talks to us about balance. It also talks to us about calm, positivity, being social, interacting with others in a very warm, hosting, positive, harvest type manner. And this card also has a degree of real positiveness, as in support, close support, like a partnership of some sort, or someone who you can share this with, or someone you are going through this current timeline with. It could be a close partner, or it could be a business associate or a co-worker that seems as though there is something about a supporting bond that is there for some of you. So for some it will be family or close relationships, and others this is tied into work relationships. The Hermit talks to us about pretty much what we're all doing at this point in time. We have gone within, and we are in enforced lockdown for many people. And in that enforced lockdown time, a lot of us, as I mentioned earlier, can find resolve or answers or ideas or insight. So perhaps some of you are going to come up with some sort of ideas or knowledge about the way forward, or new concepts, new designs. This one here, the Queen of Swords, is very much about communication, using your intelligence, because that's the air sign energy and that's what the swords people do. So there might be some communication around your career sector or your finances, or what you do with your finances, that could be intelligent and useful communication that comes in that somehow gives you a calming support, or knowing. This Queen of Swords could even be related to this overall feeling as well. This feeling of some sort of safety or solidness to something about your career, or something about what you do with your finances, or where you've put it, or how you intend utilizing it in the future. It may be that you require a little bit more in-depth strategizing or thinking or planning to make these feelings or situations evolve to this state of what these two cards emulate, is a feeling of safety or happiness or bounty one way or another. I have a feeling that there might be another person at least involved who somehow causes or creates a form of communication that brings some ideas or concepts into line that helps it come to this place in the middle for you guys over the month of May. And it could be that they are air sign people. So watch out for them in your life and see how communication and ideas might span forth some sort of positive productivity. If we come to your relationships, we see over here again another really eclectic bunch of cards that came out. So the Two of Swords is often considered being at a crossroads and being a little bit stuck in making a decision, like so procrastination. This Eight of Swords is not dissimilar in many ways because they both have this blindfold on. So they both can't quite see all the messages of the energy and the things that are going on around them. And in many ways, both of them have created this themselves because she's completely on her own, sitting there with the two swords going, gosh, do I go left? Do I go right? Do I pick A? Do I pick B? And she's not much better as she gets through and she's ending up at the 8 and still a very similar situation that she hasn't been able to free herself or choose or a decision or go forward in a path in the right direction. So something in this is talking to you about listening to yourself, trusting your gut intuition, not being so afraid of something that is going on right now, having some faith, taking the blindfold off, looking further into the future, maybe doing what the hermit did back here. And when you're in these times of solitude, instead of letting fear or anxiety rule the situation, you use some higher thought process or some broader knowledge or obtain a bigger picture. And then we can drop off the worry and the feeling of restriction and being tied in and not being able to see past something. But you got the next one as well, which is the Devil card, which can sometimes represent a Capricorn energy. And it's sort of like things are out of balance. So some relationships around you right at the moment might be out of balance, out of whack, out of kilter. And it could be through either something that you do or a situation that you have found yourself in that has helped to create this out of balance energy, and it might be causing anxiety or tension. It could be about addictions or fears or anxieties that are ruling the energies. So it's really important, as I said before, to not sit there and allow those negative vibes to get hold, but rather to look into the bigger picture, the greater perspective, the further, the more open expanse, which was your very first card, pondering positivity into the future around anything, whether it's career, health, money, or relationships. Sometimes it can suggest that there is an unbalanced energy around some relationships that are going on here, and it could be that other people are slightly out of balance that are creating tension for you. And at the moment we know there will be a really big increase in mental health and emotional issues as we all come out of this global lockdown. It's a lot to ask for the whole of humanity as such to go into this and not be affected one way or another. And yes, some people can go in and be affected positively and come out shining and be on top, and others will go into these situations and feel afraid or locked up or restrained or restricted and not enjoy it at all. So this is about making sure that you just respect your feelings and listen to them, and don't be afraid of accepting them for whatever they might be at any given time during a day. Sometimes you might be elated and happy, and other times you might be angry or sad. And the same might be going on for relationships around you. So there might be some that you are feeling worried about, certain people around you. And if that's the case, you may need to seek some help, you may need to seek a bit of freedom, or you may need to put boundaries or restrictions on as well. And the other perspective is you may need to lift boundaries and restrictions of your own. This could be a time when we become a bit unglued and a bit unbalanced, and we might find ourselves getting addicted over certain things. For some people, it will be addicted to exercise, like, God, I've got to get out there and walk as many kilometers a day as I can, or I've got to exercise because I don't want to get unfit, or, it takes my mind off it. But balance, I think, is the key thing in this relationship aspect for you, and it's balance with yourself as well. We've still got 2 more cards that turned up, so it seems quite an active phase that's going through relationships here for some reason or another for you. It may not all involve other people, it might be the relationship you have with yourself as well. So, it's not all necessarily other people. But this could represent Capricorn people around you, and it could be something like a boss as well, because he is often known as the entrepreneur or the person who employs people. So there might be some out of balance situations or energies within a work relationship or co-workers, and we expect that at this time as well. So again, it's about applying balance and not letting people ride roughshod over you either, and not letting your own emotions detract you or keep you tied down. We come to this one and we see 3, and often this can mean 3 people, and oftentimes it is associated at work. So for those of you who are still working through the dilemmas or the energies of employment or working, there could be something that involves 3 people or a team of 3 that has started up. This card often means you're going to come into some sort of award or reward or recognition as well. So these 2 go hand in hand quite nicely over here. They almost seem to be 2 separate dynamics. This one might be more about your working life. This one might be more about your home life or your personal life. That's how it will be for some of you. The rest of you, it might all intermingle and be interplaying somehow. It feels quite convoluted and it feels quite tricky, some of the stuff that's going on in the background regards emotions and relationships and the order of who's being the boss and who's setting the rules and the regulations. I think you have to bring balance into your relationships with yourself and with other people, and there's something for some of you about relationships within jobs that is also playing a role for you. I noticed that your card over here, which we will read from the book, was the Panther Spirit, Reclaim Your Power. And if we put these 3 together again and we have him over here, he definitely is saying that something in here, you've lost the power. You've lost the balance of power, most certainly. And he's suggesting to you, you've got to bring some sort of power back, whether it's the power of balance within yourself, about how you're feeling at the moment, or whether it's the balance of power within relationships that need reorganizing and adjusting or addressing. So let's read what Panther Spirit has to say and go from there. It takes courage to face challenges, and right now Panther Spirit is here to say that you are braver than you think. Now is the time to take a risk and step into a different aspect of your being. Speak as you have never spoken before. Act as you have always dreamed you might have the courage to act. Love fearlessly and fully, and expect to feel the adrenaline rush as you are initiated into a new, braver, bolder self. Panther Spirit says the time for dreaming about what you want to do is giving way to that first courageous act towards reclaiming your Panther Spirit and power. Your new identity may feel strange at first, but you have what it takes and your soul wants this. Be bold. Now there's also another dynamic to this particular deck of cards, and it's the protection message. So I'm going to read that out to you as well, because some of you will feel more connected to that first part of the message and others will feel connection to this part. Are you feeling shaky because you have made a bold move and have not yet seen confirmation that everything is going to work out? Or is fear holding you back? Are you afraid to act until all risk of failure has been removed? The moment when there is no risk whatsoever will never come. So follow the urging of your panther spirit within and look your fear in the eye. Have you ever heard the famous line, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself"? Stare down your fear and it will retreat and make way for your courage to fill your head to toe. Perhaps you are afraid you can't trust the power that is rising in you, and you fear the qualities you will find within when you look deeply at why you resist the challenge before you. Every part of you, no matter how dark it may seem, has a light quality. So be bold and face it. Own the light and make peace with your shadow. Spirit trusts you, so be brave and trust yourself. It is a powerful message, obviously, because it's regaining the power. And that beautiful panther spirit, the cards in this deck are so captivating. But that beautiful panther is just staring right up at you. And when it said, stare down the fear and it will retreat and make way for your courage to fill you head to toe. There is a lot of fear around the planet at the moment, and more importantly now, more than ever, we mustn't let that collective energy absorb us. We must be stronger and stand free of it and move into a space of courage and knowing that everything will move again, nothing remains the same. And I think that's at the personal level, whatever personal problems we're going through, as well as the collective. So reclaim your power, Leo. And actually, I hadn't thought about it before. I know he's not a lion, but he's close to a lion and he's a big cat.